morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the Boomba on Boom Radio NG, where we talk music, sports, politics every Monday to Friday and everything in between. My name is Shola Rogers.
My name is Oladolo. Sorry. My name is Oladolo. Bitch, warm welcome to the bar this very interesting afternoon. They want to carry my voice, but I'm not going to allow them. So, pardon me if I sound a little croaky this afternoon. Devil is a liar. All of you, you know yourself. The devil is a liar. It cannot be me. Any which way, village people, I see you. It's not working. But anyway, we're going to be talking about a lot of things today. I don't know why I started with that. But it said about Nigeria's corruption perception index has dropped. How did you say that thing? Has dropped or increased? It's supposed to be a good thing, so it's dropped. Yes. Also, the PDP presidential candidate seems to have an issue with the way President Tinubu is running the country, as expected anyway. And of course, there are updates from AFCON. And maybe at this point, when it comes to regarding AFCON, maybe SR needs to be our resident, what's the word? Predictor, or whatever it is. Because apparently he predicted one. Okay, the second one did not come true actually, but he predicted one.
I got both of them. I said Cape Verde was going to win.
No, you said Mauritania was
I want Mauritania to win, so it's easier for Nigeria if we meet them. But I Cape Verde will win. You can play it back. Because I listened again this morning on the podcast.
Anyway.
Thank you.
So we will get to that as well. So let's get right into today's stories. As it is said that Nigeria's corruption perception index has dropped.
Yeah, it's improved under the current administration because the statistics are, taken periodically from time to time, and it looks like there's some kind of improvement on it. For a government that has just come in about 7-8 months ago, it will be a thing of pride for them, something that they will play up. For the opposition, they can spin it any way they want, and come at them and say, how has that affected the price of the dollar? How has that put food on the table? You get. But for me, I would say, okay, what are the things that they have done? If I could ask them a question, what are the things that they've done differently, or that has helped improve the perception, of Nigeria on the corruption index, Because again, I always hold some of these statistics from outside Nigeria with a little bit of caution, So yeah, it could be on the one hand a plus for the government of the day, and on the other hand, it could just be some kind of thing that would not mean anything because there seems to be more pressing issues. But corruption is not something that we can wish away and speak with disdain and say they've not done anything, so we're not impressed. But on the all round basis, though, it's a good news because at some point in time, Nigeria was always given a bad name. Not like the name has stopped, though, because some of those things are actually justified. Some of the things that they say about Nigerians are justified when you look at what some Nigerians are doing. And the sad part is they form a small number of Nigerians, but their intentions and their actions are overbearing. They affect all Nigerians in general. So, okay, that's what I want to say about it. Trying to look at it from 2 or 3 different perspectives.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that it might help. The sad part is that over the years we've seen there's been a lot of things, a lot of conversation around. I think basically is one thing. I don't think corruption can be wished away, like you said. People are just ridiculous. Let's put it like that. Plenty people are ridiculous. Plenty people are not all, not a large chunk, but there are a lot of people that I personally feel that are badly behaved. People, so there are things that you can't wish away. But I think that it's all boils down to the government of the day's reaction to some of these things that we hear. So maybe that might have helped. Once we've seen a few, would we say arrests? Very interesting ones. Even though in like the past 1-2 weeks we're not hearing anything about anybody anymore. So maybe it's time to step those things up. Let's know what exactly is happening, and then maybe overall it might help Nigeria out of a lot of things. As much as, yes, it might not help the dollar, but at least it will plug some holes where a lot of people are stealing money from.
Yeah, the funny thing is, eventually it should help the dollar. And when we say help the dollar, we don't mean the US dollar. We mean the naira. Most times when we refer to dollar in Nigeria now, we refer to it in tandem with the value of the naira and how the naira has fallen to the lowest levels ever in the history of Nigerian currency. I don't think we've ever fallen this low when we started trading the Nigerian naira for other foreign currencies and all of that. The way it could help is that the perception of Nigeria as being less corrupt should and could influence more foreign direct investments. You know, when the ease of doing business is tackled, the perception, you know, of corruption by non-Nigerians of Nigeria as a country and Nigerians as a people is also tackled, then you start to see different things coming in. It might not be immediate, and it might be immediate, might be rapid, you know, but the prayer is that eventually, you know, those Nigerians who have been steadfast and who have stayed away from corruption will benefit from their good works. But this is all in all some good news for us.
Any which way, so talking about plugging some holes, we've been having this conversation for about 2 weeks now about the CBN staff, part of CBN departments that have been relocated to Lagos. It is official now. 1,500 staff of the CBN are going to be relocated to Lagos, and it's said that they are going to have to resume in Lagos office by February 2nd. So if I'm correct, that's on Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
So the departments that are moving to Lagos are bank supervision, other financial institution supervision, consumer protection department, payment system management department, financial policy regulations departments. So all these 5 constitute 1,500 staff of the CBN, and they are moving to Lagos. And they probably are moved, but shall have to resume CBN office on Friday, February 2nd.
Yeah, you know, the whole relocation thing is, for me, get to better services, you know, in the banking sector of Nigeria, especially as a regulator of banks, where the bulk of the bank headquarters are domiciled in Lagos. So, again, the CBN on its own part did not really cater to the needs of its people. And this is a fact. That's why there's even the talk of bringing them back to Lagos and all of that. So it's a two-pronged thing. Apart from the fact that they didn't have enough in place for them, the bulk of their work is in Lagos. And they were spending too much on logistics, having to send people to Lagos who would spend weeks and months, then go back again. And those things really don't make sense. They really, really don't make sense. So for me, I'm glad that they put words to, you know, their words into action. But one of the things that I'd always stayed at the back of my mind is, this were internal memos. These were decisions that were within an organization. They did not actually call a press conference or put out a press statement to say, this is what we want to do on the 2nd of February. So again, you start to look at who are the people behind the leakage.
But was it, how do I say it now? Was it confidential information?
Was it public information? It doesn't have to be confidential. As an organization, when you want to make pronouncements that are meant for public consumption, you put out a press statement, an official press statement, or you call a press conference, and you sit down and say, this is what we're planning to do, and this is what we're planning to do. I did not see anything like that from the CBN.
But they also didn't debunk it, so it's true.
It's not about debunking. I'm saying that it was not meant to be so much of a big deal. Listen.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Like, in the case of FAN, there was actually like a public statement from the minister, and it was... I get what you're saying. I think I get what you're saying.
Look. It's like...
but I think the CBN governor actually said something about it.
That's why it's still the same thing. He eventually said something about it. He came out first as, they are planning to. They want to move everything to Lagos. They want to make Lagos the federal capital again. What I'm trying to say is, for instance, by law, all the embassies, are domiciled in the federal capital of every country. In the case of Nigeria, all the embassies are domiciled, or headquarters are domiciled in Abuja. But some of them have gone ahead to have consulates or out offices in places like Ibadan and Lagos and others, right? If an embassy wants to move certain departments within their embassy to Lagos or Port Harcourt,
it's nobody's business.
Exactly. It's the same thing with a corporate body that decides, what we're going to do. We're going to relocate certain departments to. It should not be
I get
a problem.
But it's a national agency. It's not
supposed to be a problem.
It's not a private company. No, should it be a problem? No. But of course, because it involves everybody, or because it involves
How does it involve you as an individual?
What I mean by involves everybody is that CBN is a Nigerian company. It's for the federal government, so it invariably it belongs to everybody. So that's why there is a conversation around it. Where I did not see the issue was that there were proper explanations around it. A lot of times, I just saw two things that I saw with the issue of the CBN and also FAN was that two things. Politicians and people, politicians, let me put it like that decided to politicize it, as that's what they do, sounds like they were doing it for their own selfish purposes, or they should come and explain their reasons for it. Regular people that are against it, I feel that a lot of people are ill-informed. Or more importantly, a lot of people did not even read to understand, or did not even read. Yeah. Not even ill-informed. They were not informed about the reasons why. So it's almost like we are wired to just be contrarian.
The point still, and I'm glad you said what you said. Shout out to Bukola Medubi. She says, right on, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That's out on YouTube. If you're listening to us or watching us, remember that you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Boom Radio NG, and leave us a comment, comment, share. Invite your friends to also be a part of our community. We're building, a vibrant community of people who would, put facts over opinion. Of course, we can opinionate, but it has to be based on facts. Another scenario is, for instance, the Niger Delta Development Corporation, company or ministry or whatever is actually domiciled in the Niger Delta. The headquarters is domiciled there. It would be funny if you now ask the bulk of them or some of their departments there, to relocate to Abuja because Abuja is the federal capital. But if they are maybe maybe there's a department that's supposed to be some kind of liaison office or something in Abuja. You cannot stop that. And the day they decide to say, okay, even the liaison office, we're shutting it down, everybody should go back to Nigeria, it should not be a big problem. And these are the things, like, we don't have to politicize. What we want is a functional government and a functional country where results come out. Some of these people, it is glaring that it was from the inside that they quickly put out the story to kind of some kind of smear campaign on the government, so that they could pressure them to stop the, order for them to relocate to Lagos. You know how it is in some of these ministries, and the changes will not come overnight. Even if you bring, I don't know who is the best administrator ever anywhere in the world, from Barack Obama to Lee Kuan Yew to Mandela, or even if you bring, they cannot make changes overnight. They can't bring those changes overnight. You understand? And every attempt that they get, there will be people who will frustrate them. It's obvious that there are people who are just staff that are not working. We all know how there are a lot of ministries where public servants, or people who work in those ministries, don't even show up at times. They just come, sign the register, and they go. Or they just sit down all day and they're just gisting. And we cannot afford to continue like that. If you ever wondered why we're backward, it's because of some of these things. Policy statements are made, there's nobody to follow up. Nobody's inspecting projects that have been given out, because they can't leave the comfort zone. They can't leave Abuja. Imagine you're asking someone to leave Abuja to go and inspect a project in Borno, where there's some kind of insurgency. They are too big for that. They have to stay in Abuja. And these are the things that has to stop.
Yeah, those things that have to stop.
You applied for these jobs, regardless. And the sad part is,
you don't want it.
Then resign. You start hearing about how some of these so-called top politicians have their children and families working in these places. That's another story.
Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Quickly, before we leave all these issues, the PDP presidential candidate who seems to have an issue with the Oyo State government, because the governor called him out yesterday. It's a conversation I thought we could have, but I think we couldn't get to. But anyway, he seemed to have been mute to the thing that was happening in Oyo State, but seems to know how to tell the president that he should step aside if the shoes are too big for him.
It's politics. At the last elections, this time last year, things were about to hit the crescendo, as in it was really getting really messy at this point. Everybody was at it, but there were three major candidates as at that time: Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Abubakar Atiku, and Peter Obi. These three people are still there. Now, one is officially and legally the president of Nigeria. The other two are jostling for the position of main opposition. Not just opposition, no, main opposition.
Oh, that's true. Somebody was complaining that they are now debating.
So,
does that attract
all of this is the long game. The game that you are seeing playing out now is that Atiku and Obi are positioning themselves for 2027. Yeah. Anything you see, and officially they are not allowed to campaign until a few months to the elections. But nobody can tell them not to go to these places that they are going and do and say these things that they are saying. Do you understand? So the idea is discredit the government of the day, promote yourself. Discredit the government of the day, promote yourself. So it's like a use, rinse, and repeat kind of situation. Now, Peter Obi has made up his mind. It is clear that he wants to run in 4 years' time, or 3.5 years' time, as the case may be. It is clear that he wants to run, and he's following the template of anybody that wants to run. Stay relevant. Go to places where there are cameras, or take your cameras with you. Continue to be, in the people's minds and in their faces, and continue to galvanize your support base, or else they will just give up. You get? Atiku has to play that game too. Atiku is losing a lot of ground to Peter Obi, because look at yesterday, Obi was in Ibadan. Today, he has gone to Abuja, the Nabea ladies family who sadly lost one of their children to kidnappers. He's there with the cameras. The cameras are rolling. The lights are bright. And that is the game. And do you think it's really about... They are politicians. I don't care what anybody's going to say. These guys are politicians and they are playing politics. You know, so all they have to do is they are trying to... Their supporters, they will never do any wrong in front of their supporters. A Tinubu supporter will never see what's wrong.
Yeah.
An Atiku supporter will never see what's wrong. An Obi supporter will never see what's wrong. So they already have their support base. The people that they are trying to get are the people on the other side and the neutrals. So perception is, how do we get them? Paint this one's bad and paint ourselves good. And, you know, Atiku is now falling behind. If anybody knows him, they need to call him and say, Turaki, looks like this guy, he stepped up his game. He's not stepping down for you. You know, they were talking about a coalition. I kept on laughing. Like, they're going to have a coalition of opposition parties.
I don't think that.
How is it going to work?
I think ego alone will
whatever
let
coalition that they are doing, Dolupo, you think Atiku will step down for anybody?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think ego would ever make it work. And obviously, Peter Obi has tested the waters. He did not win an election, but compared to everybody else that has ever come third, he did very, very, very good numbers.
He's galvanized now. He's bored and
he almost upset PDP at the presidential elections. Even won if you say they have a whole governor. So for someone like him now also, you can't tell him to step down for anybody.
You know? So that coalition might not work. Not might. Will not work. I make bold to say it here now. God keep us beyond those years. It will not work. Then, that's why they're also trying to position themselves. And these are smart people. So, for the governor of Oyo State to raise it, that, look.
But you can't also blame Atiku. Remember that this is one of the G5 governors that literally worked against him at the presidential election.
Okay, so what about Obi that has gone there?
No, see, my enemy is my enemy. We all know. Wait. Okay. My enemy is my enemy. We all know.
Okay.
But when my friend that became an enemy is worse. Someone that was my enemy from the get, we already know where we stand.
Okay.
But for someone like Atiku, I'm sure that at a point where he got the ticket, he would have completely assumed that automatically every single governor under the PDP would be behind him.
Okay, after everything that you have said now, I'm going to ask you again. Why did the Labour Party presidential candidate go to Oyo State?
Optics, personally.
Why is the optics important?
For election now.
Is the optics important for the PDP too?
I don't know.
Optics you talked about.
Yes. Would it have been better if Atiku Abubakar had gone? Oh yes, I think.
So what exactly was that thing that you were saying a few minutes ago?
No, I think that it would have actually worked if they had gone. But also, I would say that it's also not a bad idea. If you also look at it from Atiku's side also, this person messed me up.
That's not Atiku's side. He just dropped the ball. Let me tell you, any politician that is serious, look, this is Atiku calling out the president to resign. He said, if you cannot handle the security of Nigeria, resign. Step aside. Now, let's look at that statement in its entirety. If you cannot handle the I'm paraphrasing though, but that's what he has said anyway. If you cannot handle the security of Nigeria, step aside.
Yeah.
If he steps aside constitutionally, does he know that it's Shetima that will become president?
I was going to say that. You know that him stepping aside does not mean that you will become president. Just saying.
You know, so as the case may be, just open a new tab, a different tab. You know, as the case may be, if you are saying that the incumbent should step aside, if you can't, constitutionally, they're not going to come and call you and hand over to you. So they will hand over to Shetima. Is that your plan, sir? Hello, sir. Are you there? So politics is funny. All they are doing is politics. And on this one, Alhaji Abubakar Atiku dropped the ball by not stamping his presence in Oyo, even if it's by proxy. Even if it is by proxy.
Anyway, Atiku Abubakar said that President Tinubu should step aside.
Yeah, and I'm just addressing that. Like, even constitutionally, if you ask him to step aside, he's not going to hand over to you. It's not. You see, even in football, organized football, where they ask people to substitute players. If they coach, you have to first write down the number of the player that you want to bring out, and the player that wants to go. You give it to the fourth official who puts that number on the board, and they raise it and say, number 14 come out, number 9 is coming in. Same players from the same team. It is clear that this is the player that's coming in and this is the player that is going out. It is rare for them to want to substitute a player from Arsenal.
You're mean.
Arsenal.
You're mean.
Then the Arsenal player that they want to substitute will now say, it's not Namo that I want to come and play for me. He will now go to the Nottingham bench and say,
you're mean.
You say I should step aside, I'll be, come and play.
You're just mean.
So, sir, at times, if you're going to make a call, let's make it a little bit more sensible.
You're just mean.
I said what I said.
You're just mean. That's all I have to say. You are mean. That's it.
Peace out, Alhaji.
Wow, peace out.
But before you peace out, think of reconstituting your team. Because one of your players seems to have crossed over. One of your players.
Okay, one has crossed.
One of your players seems to have crossed. And the transfer window is closing tomorrow, like we heard, 31st of January. But we think the guy has gone for medicals in Paris. He has gone for medicals. So the way we are seeing it, sir, you need a stronger team. And again, was that guy ever your player, or was he just on loan?
Any which way, we'll see how that goes. The Vice President has today inaugurated the National Minimum Wage Committee that we had spoken about yesterday. Also, the President has urged the Senate to confirm the sack of the FCCPC chairman.
Constitutionally, when some people get fired, they need it to be ratified by the Senate, the House of Assembly, the Senate majorly, and that's what the president is calling for.
Well, they can replace those set of people. So anyway, we'll see where that goes.
I actually wish that this guy was not sacked. That's Irukera's platform, because I don't know if that FCCPC existed before him, but I know that under Irukera
there was a lot of
grounds were gained.
Yes, that happened. But anyway, the president would probably know what he was doing.
Irukera is the kind of guy you want to give another job.
Even if he doesn't know what he's doing, he has done what he has done, and there's nothing we can do about it. Moving on from that quickly, there's news that broke yesterday. Very, very interesting news. Quickly before we go to gist about AFCON. Governor Ododo, which is very weird though, but Kogi State has a new governor, in case people do not know. It's called Governor Usman Ododo. Before we go into the story, Governor Usman Ododo, please, I want to give you a little bit of advice. Please, can you ask the former governor to teach you a little bit of, poise and a little bit of swag? Oh God.
I don't agree with you.
Oh no.
I think you are completely unfair.
No, Governor Yahaya or former Governor Yahaya Bello. He's a swaggerlicious, or he was.
Nah, that's wrong.
Was a swaggerlicious governor. There's this swag, there's this thing, there's this aura that's Governor Yahaya Bello brought to be the governor.
What it is,
he was one of the youngest, if not the youngest governor. And he brought the verb.
Same age as this person.
But
he became governor. Just Ododo is 41. Yahaya Bello became governor at 41. I think it's 48, 49 now or thereabout, right? So of course, but that's what we're trying to.
Why you? When did that come into that
That's
conversation?
what we said. What we said. But what it is that it is good for us to have different type of governors.
I'm not saying that he's a bad governor.
Please excuse me.
I'm just saying that
he has not even
there's
acted yet.
this
In Osun
that,
State, we have a singing,
Jesus.
dancing governor. And
have.
I said have. We have. In another state, we have another governor who is known for another thing.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about governors and their talents.
Which governor are you talking about?
Governors and their talents.
Which other governor are you talking about?
I don't know.
But you're supposed to actually speak.
So we missed out on the singing governor. Dino Melai would have been a fantastic singer. I don't know about his governorship and governance skills. So Governor Ododo is now an amazing kneeling governor. The kneeling governor.
No, he was deputy governor now. Prostrated.
Ododo does not know how to kneel. You have not seen him kneel down to his father, the governor. You don't see him every time in public where he's always over kneeling and over paying obeisance and everything.
When somebody
like
makes
he's worshiping a god.
When somebody makes you a
governor, Ododo, shout out to you.
When somebody makes you a governor,
kneel.
You
kneel your
Since
kneel.
I see a lot of people talking about those things, I'm like, you people will do what I did. Do you know what it means to be a governor?
Kneel your kneel,
please. Don't even let's do what.
But anyways.
Seriously. But we should actually be more serious with other things. But anyway.
When man was born in 1982.
Why you are angry?
It's just interesting, that's all.
No, it's not.
But anyhow. I'm happy for him. And he has 4 years to
swag up.
Yeah, he can do that too. But he has 4 years
to swag up
to show that young people can do it. A lot of young people have gotten a chance in government.
He has his Raz look.
And they have not delivered.
He has his Raz look.
You see, she's concerned about looks, and it's fine because she's a woman.
What's that supposed to be? And
she likes, what she likes. She wants to appreciate, nature, beauty, being.
To look good.
Nothing wrong with anything she said. I am more concerned about governance. I want to see that in 4 years, Kogi State people will say, this is the man for us. We want to see. We've seen a man that has been selected as governor. He eventually won an election because more or less he was chosen by the former governor.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for him. But it's now time for him to remember that the mandate belongs to the people of Kogi. Either PDP voted for you or not, either one section of Kogi voted for you or not. It is time for you to improve and develop Kogi State.
Any which way, what I actually started this conversation with, I had not even started the gist. Now, yesterday, there was news that was going around, which the honest truth was that not like I believed or I don't know him. I didn't think that it was going to happen. But I remember a former governor building something like that for himself. So we can't say that it kind of thing never happened. But this now, there was news that Governor Ododo had built an office for the former governor Yahaya Bello as office of the former governor. I remember that something like that was built in Ekiti State, where a former governor built an office for a house for himself, pretty much. That inside the government house, thinking that his deputy was going to be governor. Sadly, they didn't win that election, so I think that house was taken from them and all that, blah blah blah. Any which way, Governor Ododo has now come out to debunk the story of creating the office of former governor. There's nothing like that. I'm happy there's actually nothing like that.
So again, it's not impossible for people to assume that there is the office of the former governor based on the way he was always paying obeisance to the then governor. After he had won the election, he was extremely grateful he would never hide it that he was his Oga's boy. He respects his governor. Now he is the governor. That man that he respects, that power that man had is now his own. You get. It's up to him now to see how he would, navigate the waters of walking under a godfather in quote.
So we'll see how that goes.
However, blogs and even some media platforms have carried that story.
Oh yeah, people carry that story.
Not one major media platform carried it. Dear Nigerians, we want to beg
Let's be coming now.
Look, you don't need to hate someone so much to the point of believing every story about them. You know, you can wait for the boom bar to confirm the authenticity of news. Day. Now, what way would they do? Now, the walk way would they do? And if you don't want to wait, we urge you to not forward stories that you are not sure of. They taught us now. If in doubt, leave out.
Yeah, so we need to be careful with that. Now, before we continue with a lot more stories, we're going to be talking a bit about AFCON, and we're giving you more updates. Yesterday, there were a lot of games, a few games. First things first, thankfully, the drug test that was done on a few Nigerians, that I think Victor Osimhen, Trust Ekong, there were a few random drug tests that were done on them, but they've come out negative. Yeah, they've come out negative, so there's nothing of sort. They really just did well, and they're just really fit. That's all.
It is important to note that hardly has any Nigerian footballer, ever failed a drug test. Hardly. It is important to note this. And
so that's good discipline, really. That's impressive.
One of the things that they need to understand, especially when it comes to the case of Osimhen. Now, Victor Osimhen was fantastic at the under-17 level. They were unlucky at the under-20 level. And since then, he hasn't won any major trophy at the senior level. At the last AFCON, people forget that Osimhen did not play.
Why, though?
Remember the injury
he
he
was
had.
Injured, his face. Oh,
COVID
yeah.
and the injury knocked him out.
Had that face injury,
and that mask is going to wear it for the rest of his career.
Oh, wow. So he didn't play.
Victor he
has something to prove.
He has a point to prove.
He has a point to prove.
Victor has a point to prove. So when you see him play like four
someone that just won African
CAF
Player of the Year, he has a point to prove.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure a lot of people also did not like the fact that he was the one that won it.
Exactly.
So he actually does have a point to prove.
So my boys are not drugging up. They are not using anything.
Yeah, a lot of them.
The boys are working hard because they have a point to prove. So this is it. That's one thing that we need to put on the table for you. Now, I'm not one of those people that like to gloat, but Dolubo's team is out. Senegal.
Yeah, they out.
By
that was shocking, really. It was penalties.
Everything, but it was everything said.
Penalties could be anybody.
Everything I said would happen. A team that was driven by tasting defeat. A team that was, gingered on by the fans. Again, their president declared a work-free day, virtually shutting down the entire economy and the country for this game. Senegal, if they were that good, would not have played a draw with them in 90 minutes. Look,
it was shocking because the truth is that I think Senegal's game. I've watched most of the games this AFCON, and they're a good team. They are a good team, but it is football.
So whatever it is, whatever anybody's going to tell you or say to you, congratulations to Côte d'Ivoire.
Oh, yes. Nobody ever thought they were going to get to
that
this
I
point.
thought would see them through, saw them through. And I'm happy. I am really happy.
They really need to step up their game.
I am so happy for them. And it also shows the dominance of the West African bloc in football.
Okay.
Cabo Verde.
Yeah, Cape Verde also
Côte d'Ivoire.
has... they also defeated Mauritania 1-0. Of course, that too was a very It was a late goal also, so we can't say it was a walk in the park, but they definitely came out on top. Now today there's going to be Mali, Burkina Faso, and Morocco, South Africa. I think that.
Mali, Burkina Faso should not be playing against themselves since they're about to become one country. So they should just forfeit it and both go home.
Just go, baby.
Let both of them go home.
Morocco, South Africa, that is one game to watch.
Morocco, South Africa.
Even though, I'm sorry, Morocco has not dazzled that like I thought they would. Coming from the verve of the World Cup.
Looking at the quality in that Moroccan team and looking at the amazing things that the South Africans have done, you expect this to be a cracker.
Yeah, it's
South
one
Africa
game I
might
think
have not hit the high notes that you want them to hit, but this is the kind of game where they show up.
This is the kind of game that everybody needs to step up
because
their game.
If you don't win, you are going home. Now, Morocco is affiliated to West Africa. They are our people. They applied to be. I'm bringing politics going. You understand? Because obviously, we couldn't talk about it last week. Yesterday. I hope we get to it today. But football is so crazy.
Oh, it's crazy. It's definitely anybody's game.
These two teams are very good teams. And sadly,
somebody's going home.
One of them has to go. And I see Morocco edging it. I think
it's going to be a difficult one, but
maybe. I see them, well, that's why I said edge. I don't see them guns blazing, gung-ho. No, but I see them edging it. But I would like to be proven wrong.
So, for the quarterfinals are starting with Nigeria, Angola on Friday. The Democratic Republic of Congo and Guinea are also going to be playing on Friday. On Saturday, Ivory Coast, with whoever wins the game between Mali and Burkina Faso, will be playing. Also, Cape Verde will be playing with whoever wins between Morocco and South Africa.
Hello? Mali? Oh, Mali, okay. Mali is going through. Mali would defeat Burkina Faso. So it's Mali versus Cote d'Ivoire. But don't come for me tomorrow, but it is Mali, Cote d'Ivoire.
Okay, we'll see. We'll definitely see where that goes. If
Mali, don't do anyhow.
Anyway, immediately after the AFCONs, now it has been announced by Argentina that they're going to be playing international friendlies with Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire in March.
Come and play in Africa now. Come and play in Nigeria. Let us watch, bring Messi and the other minions.
Really?
But bring Messi.
Really?
Come and play in Africa. Play in Uyo or Abuja, But it's going to be interesting.
Wait. Doesn't Alvarez play that team?
Who is he?
Wow.
Who's Alvarez? I've never heard of him. I don't know what you're talking. I know Messi.
Wait.
I know
Di Maria
Messi.
plays in that team.
Messi. I know Messi.
Wow. Really?
I know Lionel
Minions.
and Messi.
You are just a mean human being. Anyway, we're moving on from that quickly. And, okay, since we did take a lot of... Let's do a bit of international stories. If time permits us, we'll come back to more Nigerian stories. But first things first, the UK Labour Party has suspended, sadly, now they know that it's British-Nigerian minister over a Gaza genocide remark that she made.
Look, the old
watching what you say.
Gaza war and all of these wars, Ukraine, Russia, are wars that we can do without. And being just an ordinary guy without any form of power, I just want to call on all of them to give peace a chance. Please give peace a chance. I will not say somebody has done genocide. I won't say even the one that they took to court. We heard what the court said. So for me, it's a needless war, and it's a war that should end.
Yeah. So the MP of Edmonton had, in a weekly newsletter, had said that Gaza should be added to the list of recent genocides. If I'm correct, the UK is supposed to be siding Israel in this matter, right? But you shall have to talk.
Rest my case.
Also, a Canadian province, British Columbia, for people that are planning to jackpot through school, has now announced a 2-year ban on international students. It asked the schools in the province not to take any international students for 2 years.
These are the issues. You see, all my life, I've always known that Canada was begging people to come there. People don't understand. Geographically, Canada is bigger than the USA. Now, guess what? The USA is bigger than some continents. And that's a country. It actually should be like the continent of America. Do you get? So when they say the Americas, they actually mean something else. Now, Canada is so big, and they need people to populate it. But now, see your life. They are saying they don't want people
too much
because of people's misbehavior. I know if they come and tell you what is going on. But here we are. So please, whenever you get a chance to go out of your country, be it Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, or anywhere, know that you are representing the entire population of your continent. If you're Indian or Pakistani, just know that you're representing your people. Please don't misbehave.
Any which way, talking about continents, there was news that broke, I think it was 2 days ago, that Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali are saying that they're with immediate effect, they're taking themselves out of ECOWAS bloc.
Peace. Have a nice life.
ECOWAS has come back to say that they remain members because they are not the proper people to pull them out. That's not how it works.
So there's a process to this withdrawal. If you want to leave an association or a union, remember, just like Great Britain and Brexit, they didn't just announce we're leaving Europe. There was actually a referendum. There was voting and everything, and they later pushed it forward. And a lot of people are saying it was a big mistake. But well, let's leave that for the experts. Now, Mali,
but why is
Burkina Faso,
Finish.
Niger, 3 countries governed or ruled by coup plotters. 3 countries that contribute virtually next to nothing to the economy of West Africa. 3 countries that are landlocked and require access to water through the rest of West Africa. 3 countries that, when it comes to evaluating what they bring to the table, they do
not on the table.
Exactly. They don't even bring anything, not to talk of being on the table. Thank you for that. Say they want, not that they have left. Remember we talked about it at the bar a couple of weeks ago when they said that they're forming a country, they're forming their own country together. I wish them all the best. Good luck. But it should come from countries that
there's something to...
When you pull out, ECOWAS will feel your impact.
Now, my issue with ECOWAS is you have suspended these countries already.
Yeah.
According to ECOWAS, they say that there is no formal notification, so they cannot...
No, it takes a process.
Withdraw, like you said, it takes a process.
It takes a process.
But you already suspended them. So let them be going.
No, but that does not supersede the constitution of the association. They are supposed to give them forward notice, and it takes a few months for that to be processed.
My own issue with...
I think that I agree with you personally, but the law does not. I agree. I think there should be some kind of extraordinary ECOWAS meeting. And they will say, you know what? Have a nice life.
Have a nice life. Really and truly, because... but it is what it is. My question for these countries and the people, because I saw a lot of people of those countries actually praising those things. I'm not saying that the situations that they were in were perfect. That we cannot say. But are you better off for it now?
Look, is your new daddy taking care of you? Go to him.
That's the issue. That's the only issue we have
now. You got weight from one country recently and you're happy. Go. Have a nice life.
Have a nice life. Also, quickly, there's also been
And there
a
should be a
very
clause that says that you can't come back again. That when you leave, you don't come back. Hit the
Okay,
road,
oh.
Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more.
So, let's go all the way to Spain, where the Spanish police had busted owners of a funeral parlor in Valencia for allegedly selling dead bodies to university research departments for 1,200 euros per corpse.
It's gory, it's disgusting, and it's completely unheard of. Why would you do that? Like, normally,
But I thought our hospitals
there are
get
ways for them to get their John Does
exactly
and all of this. And there you are now. Because when you monetize people's corpse and dead bodies,
people start selling their families. Oh,
is it only that one? They can start killing for it.
yeah.
They can actually snuff the light out of people because they're going to get some kind of value. Because some people will be like, alive, you don't mean anything to me. But dead, you're worth
1,200 euros.
I think I'm happy that the police bust this thing in Valencia and let it stop. Let it just stop completely. It's extremely gory, man.
It is gory. Another very interesting story that popped up is all the way in Colombia, southern Colombia, where a woman has been charged with wildlife trafficking. Guess what happened? So at Bogota airport on Monday, a woman was found with 130 poisonous frogs in her luggage. What are you people doing? Like, what are you people doing? What are you up to? Are you joking? 130.
So you know that when people do those kind of things, there's a story behind it. There's something that they are up to that is definitely not good and doesn't all go well for the greater good. Poisonous frogs, imagine. So they're probably going to take those frogs to wherever she was flying to.
Yeah, sell them.
Harvest the poison from the frogs and start to do God knows what. Let them lock her up and throw away the keys. Or maybe lock her up with the poisonous frogs so that she can take care of them. Or they take care of her. Either way, somebody gets taken care of.
Any which way, let's come back quickly before we go. Just talk about a few things. As the Lekki deep sea port seems to be getting a lot of news. Yesterday, there was talks of getting a very large
the
shipment.
CGM.
Yeah. Now
that is actually LNG powered.
Yeah. So LN is the first LNG powered vessel that they've gotten, and I think it's beautiful.
Yeah. Last week, they received the biggest ship that ever visited Nigeria, breaking the record of Honor port.
So I think it's beautiful, but the only thing is that what do these ships take back?
God bless you. I was waiting for you to finish, and I was going to say that. So this shows you why the dollar will always be on the high. If you bring the biggest ship to Nigeria, and it's only coming to dump produce and products and stuff here, and returns empty, what value are we really getting?
Yes, exactly.
What value are we getting? Let's be honest with ourselves. Oh yeah, deep sea port, where they import, we no export. That one a port.
So it's a conversation that we definitely need to have. Anyway, still sticking with Lagos. The Lagos Blue Line has now recorded 500,000 passenger traffic in 5 months.
Congratulations to LAMATA. Congratulations to Lagos State. This is very massive. This is very huge. And it starts me thinking, the Nigerian Railway Corporation, let's get your statistics too. What have you done in recent times? There's
how many people are you moving?
There's the narrow gauge. There's the narrow gauge. And good news, Lagos to Kano is back on stream. The narrow gauge is going to run from Lagos to Kano. People were condemning the quality of the trains, but they don't understand. It's narrow gauge. Let's be patient. The bottom line is that they can move goods and personnel and people from Lagos to Kano and vice versa. And standard gauge, they've not even been able to cover up to 1,000 kilometers of standard gauge rail, but it's making something. So let's get the statistics to find out how it's going.
Okay, talking about statistics, this is just to help people out there. You need to be checking if the phones you are using, it's approved in Nigeria or not. Now, the FCC has latest release, 2,197 approved phones have been released. So people need to check out that list and see which of these phones, maybe your phone is approved. And the truth is that you might think that it's just not a big deal. A lot of people's phones get blown up. There are a lot of tests that these things are doing. So that's the reason for this tests, to be sure if it could actually use it or is safe for you.
My thing on this one is that why is it that in 2024, years after the Buhari government showed us a Nigerian phone that was being made?
Oh, that's true. What happened to that phone?
We don't have it. Why is it that in 2024, virtually all the phones in Nigeria are imported?
Most of it are Chinese made.
And they are imported. Even your iPhone is Chinese made anyway, so that's not even a bad thing. But the bottom line is that they are imported. Why is that? Please, why? In 2024, even if it's assembly, let's just assemble phones in Nigeria. That way, the standards are, strictly adhered to.
At times, that's even what brings up the price of these phones. Not because they are really that expensive, but because of the amount of money that's used to transport these phones from whatever countries they're coming from. That also increases. Now, it is official. The Ogun Assembly has ratified the former speaker's impeachment, and they've sworn in a new speaker.
Bye-bye, Mr. Speaker, bye-bye. He was still pushing back yesterday. Then
the court
of him being arrested or said to be arrested and all of that. It's obvious. That, he's gone. There's a message on YouTube from Bukola Medubi. Just popped up a few seconds ago.
What will the ship take back? You're so right. Exactly. That's really...
Honestly, because we just import. If we can export, imagine if those ships were also taking stuff back. It would be such a beautiful scenario for Nigeria. And that would definitely change the entire economy of this country.
It will. Any which way, on that note, that is all you're able to take on the Boomba today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for very, very much for the comments. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of the Boomba. Do have a beautiful day. Please like, please comment, please share, follow us. What else do?
Subscribe.
Yes, subscribe. So have a beautiful day and peace.